Success is not the absence of failure, it's the persistence through failure. Aisha Tyler. My friends, 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. If you will just do this day in, day out, week in, week out, you will master this. And people say, how long, Thom? How long will it take? It'll take as long as it takes. And guess what? When you master the charts, you will make up for the money that you didn't make during the time period you were learning in a very small amount of time. So don't blow your money learning. Practice Trade at the end of today's, in the show notes today is a great training on fractional trading, which is the next step beyond paper trading. It's where you're using small dollar amounts to trade. Again, you get to practice entering trades, position sizing, along with getting out of trades, setting your good till canceled sell orders, making the right decision as to when to get out. And if you use small dollar amounts, say $100 for a practice trade, then you can track the percentage that you're making and or losing much easier. What you will also learn as we teach you with using average true range to help you limit your losses and sticking by those things, when you learn to control your emotions, when you hit those loss bands and you pull out, when you hit those profit bands and take profit, each and every time you will learn that you only have to be successful with a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio about 4 times out of 10, and you'll be in the green. And then you just get better from there. But you won't know any of this and prove it to yourself until you actually do it. And you can't afford to do it with real money because it will crush you. The learning curve is too steep and it's too expensive. So what you do is you follow the rules we set up day in, day out. And if you don't do it day in, day out, you're not going to learn the nuances of the system and of the particular ETFs or stocks that you are interested in tracking and potentially trading. So let's jump into these charts. We see stocks are up, bonds and gold and Bitcoin down. Let's jump into first, as we always do, the S&P 500. I'm glad we didn't jump into this one yesterday. We had things go red, but again, instead of dropping over, hammering down, what did we see happen? We, of course, saw it slide sideways, which gave me a pause for concern. Did not initiate a trade, and of course, it moved in the opposite direction. You might say, Thom, why did you do that? It's what we call the nuances. Learning by doing, feeling what's going on, looking into the market, and making the right call. So we saw things bumping up in the morning, a little higher in the afternoon, not much for the day, 0.34%, but of course moving in the wrong direction. We're still negative on the 2-day chart. We're still negative on the weekly chart. And when I say negative, I mean we are negative on the STC. It is red, so we're minus 14 at this point on our success multiplier formula. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for the half day to rotate over, going down. Of course, we're well below the 200 exponential moving average, so our only trade on the S&P right now would be a down move, because if we don't make up moves when we're below the 200 EMA, it means the trend is down. There is down weight pushing on us, even though the STC is heading up on the half day, down on the 2-day and the weekly. So we have a lot of pressure. Now, let's go into the Qs and see where we are there. We attempted to initiate a trade on the Qs with this down move that occurred. I wasn't super excited about it because, again, it was a sideways slide, but we initiated it nonetheless. And of course, this one did not work. It goes into the loss column. We show you the victories and we show you the defeats. The pullout point was, of course, at the minus 2.63% when we had things kick up green. That, of course, occurred in the afternoon on Tuesday. And, of course, good thing we got out when we did, because it went up in the morning and the afternoon on Wednesday, up for the day 0.64%, and then kicked back over to an up move. Now, we didn't turn around and jump into an up move. Why? Because we're below the 200 EMA. We're still negative on the 2-day, on the weekly, on the STC, so we pay attention to all of those things. Now, where is the NASDAQ 100? Where is the S&P 500? Where are they going? Well, we don't know yet. We just know that things are fluxing around, still have a lot of downward pressure. On the half-day chart, of course, we're well below the 200 EMA and our STC. On the weekly and the 2-day are down on both of these indexes. So a lot of downward pressure. Now, let's move on to 20-year bonds. Now, 20-year bonds, you can see on the 2-day chart is green. The weekly chart is still red, but a nice green, actually 2 green up candles over so far this week and last week. But does that mean we have hit a bottom? I don't know. We've got, 3, and then we've actually got 5 out of the last 6 weeks green up candles on this 2-day chart. And we look at what's going on with the half day, and we can see that it's green, but again, starting to lose momentum down. There's our big downer for the day, down even more than Bitcoin, 1.68%. And we see where things are rolling off. Now, what are we waiting for? Well, we'll look to see what things look like if we have a crossover going down here, keeping in mind the 2-day is still up. But on all of these charts, we are well below the 200 EMA on both the 2-day and the weekly. So we keep that in mind and balance that with what we know from having traded TLT all this time. We'll look, wait, watch, and see. We can see where we had a nice down move where we captured 2.67% profit over a few day period. Then things popped up a little bit. Then we captured a 0.43% because it popped up on us. Didn't go all the way down. Did later, but we pulled out, making that much smaller profit there. But what I will keep in mind is, again, that pulled back a little on us. Things then dropped. Then we got another drop, pulled back on us. Another drop, pulled back on us. So again, we've got some trepidation here about where things are. So we'll make a good judgment call when and if we have a rotation over on the STC. But again, down pretty strong for the day, 1.68%. So we'll watch, be ready to pull the trigger if that sets up nicely for us. Now, what about gold? Gold heading down super strong. We captured 1.72% on a nice gold trade. And of course, we'd had another one cut us short. We can go back in time. Gold's not been the best of ETFs for us this year. I think the best, up 11+%, was the Qs for the year. Up until, I guess, I did these figures at mid-June. We were overall up 5.27% for the S&P 500. We were up 5.34% for TLT. And when I mean up, I'm talking about us doing the reverse trades and the up trades. All 3 of those ETFs have inverse funds that allow us to also follow them when they go down. Gold is not the same. You have to do something a little different with gold. You actually have to jump into puts there, put practice trades if you're going to do anything. But when we look at what gold has done lately, of course, it rolled down, allowed us to get a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio there as far as profit goes, and then slowed down and then hammered down again. So lots of downward pressure on that half-day chart in gold. We can also see on the 2-day where it flew through and actually just gained momentum going down after it blew through the 200 EMA there. And on the weekly, you can see still above the 200 EMA. We'll see what happens as we get closer there. So gold just continuing to hammer down. Any of you guys who kept a position open there, good for you because you've done quite well. We were happy to take our profit and pull that trade. So That is where we are on gold. Lastly, we will go to Bitcoin from gold. What do we see there on this half-day chart? Again, Bitcoin, we keep hoping it's going to find a bottom. This is just the half-day chart. Doubt this is the bottom. I guess at some point it will be. But what we see here is, again, Bitcoin up a little bit for the day as far as the candles go. Overall, though, well, you can see it didn't hit the high of the prior day, so we're actually down 0.72%. When we look at where Bitcoin is on the 24-hour chart, it is up a little bit, 0.64% for the day. Nonetheless, Bitcoin is continuing to languish. We look at the 2-day, we do see a couple of green candles, green spinning top, a green up candle, still quite negative on the STC. And of course on the weekly, still negative, still just big red down candles showing Bitcoin's ascent and fall from its peak. Man, when it really, really stroked up as high as 68,998. That was beautiful. It's nowhere near that now. But at some point, the bleeding will stop. And of course, we'll look to jump back into Bitcoin. That is where we are, folks, as we end the day on this shortened trading week on Wednesday. We always love to hear from you. Don't hesitate to reach out to us, cw@chartingwealth.com. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.